Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to read through the full article here. I might read through most of it word for word. I might try to cut little corners and break things down every now and then, but it is a very important subject, so I do need to ensure that you are given the important information and the accurate information. There is a link in the description if you'd rather go through that yourself. And I'm going to start off by just saying that this is a very, very troubling subject, very troubling subject. It's in regards to a terrible incident that happened in 2014 in Mexico. And just before we go into the details, I'm going to let you know that I don't know too much about Mexico, about the Mexican government and such. And this is an incident which happened several years ago. This is the first time I've come across this incident. So I don't know the particular nuanced details as to the occurrence, in regards to the occurrence of the initial incident. So this is somewhat of a bit of an intro to the topic, a bit of an update in regards to the recent developments of this case. So it is what it is. As I say, there's a link in the description. But to give you a bit of a brief overview, in 2014 in Mexico, 43 Mexican students were kidnapped. They were abducted. Okay, now 43 students in Mexico. Now, obviously, the families have been extremely troubled by this, and they've always suspected the government's involvement. Now, I don't know why they would suspect that. I don't know why the government would be involved in the kidnapping of students from its own country. Makes no sense to me. I find it difficult to comprehend, but that is what the suspicion has been, and it's been confirmed. The government, the Mexican government, has confirmed that both the local police were involved in the initial abduction of the 43 students. And it's also now being acknowledged by the Mexican government that this incident, again, it happened in 2014, resulted in the murder, the execution of 6 of those students, 6 of the 43. The Mexican government has admitted that a colonel within a local army, I think it's described as, a local army base, ordered the execution of 6 of the students. That's been admitted to by the Mexican government. Fact. That's pretty important, isn't it? It's pretty fucking major, and apparently this isn't getting too much attention. Have you heard about this subject elsewhere? I mean, if not, why not? Why aren't we hearing about this? This is a modern day government. Mexico's no longer a backward country, as far as I understand. I really am pretty ignorant on Mexico, but I think I've read recently that its economy is pretty strong. It's probably considered a first world country at this point. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. But this happened in 2014. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's only 8 years ago. I mean, that's like nothing. And you've got the local police kidnapping 43 students. You've got a colonel ordering the execution of 6 of the students. Now, 43 minus 6 means there's another 37 students to be accounted for. Now, if I understand correctly, I may not. I do get things wrong every now and then. I make the odd mistake. But if I understand correctly, the 37 other students are still unaccounted for. I think it's fair to say that it's generally believed that they too were murdered. But I don't think there's been confirmation of that. But look, that's a pretty thorough overview I've given you. Sorry to have taken so much time to just give you a brief overview, but we're gonna now look through the details more thoroughly. 6 of the 43 Mexican students that disappeared in 2014 were kept alive in a warehouse for days before the commander of a local army base ordered their executions. Okay? 43 Mexican students disappeared. They were abducted, we'll read later, by the police. And a commander of a local army base ordered them to be executed. Unfucking believable. Confirmed by a Mexican government official. So we're going to have a look through. Alejandro Encinas, who was leading a truth commission examining the disappearances of the 43 students, made this heinous revelation with little fanfare. So largely, this subject has been overlooked, if I understand correctly. Last week, when the Truth Commission report was released, the Interior Undersecretary Alejandro Encinas made no mention of the 6 students being turned over to Colonel Jose Rodriguez Perez. But the Truth Commission leader did declare that the abductions and disappearance were a state crime. Apparently, the army was fully aware of the abduction of the 43 students. The army did fuck all. Up until the point that the colonel got involved, Colonel Jose Rodriguez Perez, and ordered the execution of 6 of the students. Again, I'm repeating myself, but this is extremely troubling. Why the fuck would they do that? I really don't know. I don't know. I'm struggling to think of a reason as to why the police would abduct students and the army would get involved and order the execution of 6 of them. I'm struggling to think of reasons. I can guess that they had political persuasions that were contrary to the state. That would be my guess. But again, I'm too ignorant on the Mexican government to be able to be confident in that guess. But we'll carry on. The leader of the Truth Commission said authorities had closely monitored the students from the Radical Teachers College at Ayotzinapa from the time they left their campus through to their abduction by local police in the town of Iguala that night. The local police kidnapped 43 students under the watch of other authorities, under the watch of the army. That is fucking nuts. A soldier who had infiltrated the school was among the abducted students. Well, that doesn't make too much sense. A soldier who had infiltrated the school was among the abducted students. So he was a spy, essentially. They had a soldier within this school in order to, presumably, spy on the other students. Okay, so here's a quote from the leader of the Truth Commission. There is information corroborated with emergency telephone calls where allegedly 6 of the 43 disappeared students were held during several days, and they were alive in what they call the old warehouse, and from there they were turned over to the colonel. The local police turned over 6 of the students to the colonel. Allegedly, the 6 students were alive for as many as 4 days after the events of the abduction, and they were killed and disappeared on orders of the colonel. Fucking insane. The Defense Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment about the allegations on Friday. I mean, are they allegations? It seems to me that this is now fact, that this has been verified by the Truth Commission. No longer allegations, as far as I understand. The role of the army in the students' disappearance has long been a source of tension between their families and the Mexican government. From the beginning, there were questions about the military's knowledge of what happened and its possible involvement. The students' parents demanded for years that they be allowed to search the army base in Iguala. It was not until 2019 that the parents were given access to the army base with Mr. Encinas and the Truth Commission. The commission report says the Army registered an anonymous emergency call on September the 30th, 2014, 4 days after the student's abduction. I'm going to skip over this part here, but it just points to the warehouse where seemingly the 6 of the 43 students were kept for at least 4 days. Okay, so the article here says that, if I understand correctly, the entry was for... Okay, so the Truth Commission report made the following conclusion. The Truth Commission report made the following conclusion. As can be seen, obvious collusion existed between agents of the Mexican state with the criminal group Guerras Unidos that tolerated, allowed, and participated in events of violence and disappearance of the students, as well as the government's attempt to hide the truth about the events. Also, the Truth Commission report mentions the Colonel. On September the 30th, the Colonel mentions that they will take care of cleaning everything up, and that they had already taken charge of the 6 students who remained alive. So if I'm understanding this correctly, essentially the 43 students were abducted by local police at the behest of the criminal group Guerras Unidos. 37 of them were killed by the sounds of it. That's my interpretation of what we're reading here, of these short excerpts from the Truth Commission. My understanding is that 37 of the students were killed. 6 remained alive. They were kept in a warehouse. The colonel got involved. From the local army base, they kept the 6 alive for 4 days, and then subsequently executed those. That's my understanding. I mean, I could be wrong, and hopefully I am wrong. Hopefully it's not as awful as I seem to be interpreting this article. I mean, certainly it was awful. I've just skipped a little bit of the article here, but picking up here that the families of these 43 students are obviously distraught. Every year they've been marching. There's one day in particular that they've been marching, demanding for answers. But now they have some answers. They have some answers, not all answers, but now, seemingly, this Truth Commission, I'm going to say, has confirmed, the Truth Commission has concluded that the government was involved in the disappearance and the murder of 43 students in Mexico, seemingly at the hands of or rather at the behest of a criminal organization, Guerreros Unidos. I don't wish to comment on them too much. Call me paranoid, but I don't want to, these people are scary, let me say that. The motive for the police action remains unclear. The students' bodies have never been found, though fragments of burned bone have been matched to 3 of the students. Now, I'm not sure if those 3 of the students, if that's including the 6 that were seemingly separated from the other 43, from the other 37, or if those 3, the burned bones of 3 students, if they were a part of the 37 separate to the group of 6. Hopefully I've made sense with what I've said there. The former Attorney General Jesus Moreno Caram, who oversaw the original investigation, has been arrested. Good. He's going to stand trial for forced disappearance, not reporting torture, and official misconduct. So there was an investigation, and seemingly the investigator said, oh no, nothing happened here, don't worry about it, wasn't our fault. Seemingly, but it was their fault. Seemingly, the army was involved, the police were involved. What disgusting corruption Mexico suffered. I've said suffered past tense. I mean, perhaps it's more truthful and effective to say suffers. I don't know. I'm still a little bit ignorant in regards to the state of Mexico. You know, I mean, maybe I'm not as ignorant as I'm saying. I mean, seemingly it is riddled with incidences like this. The criminal organizations having taken control of local police forces, local army bases. Authorities have said that arrest warrants were issued for 20 soldiers and officers, 5 local officials, 33 local police officers, and 11 state police officers, as well as 14 gang members. That's a stack load of people. That's what my math says. 53, 64, 78, 83. 83 arrest warrants in regards to this incident. How many people were truly involved? Hundreds? Thousands of people? We don't know if any of the suspects are in custody. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. We don't know. We don't know if the Colonel Rodriguez Perez, who ordered the execution of 6 of the students, we don't know if he is being prosecuted. Too many unknowns in regards to this situation. It's good that they've made progress. It's good that the Truth Commission has concluded that a state crime has been committed, that the state was involved. That's great. That's providing some answers to the families, some level of closure, perhaps, I hope, and also some answers to the greater nation. All citizens of Mexico really ought to have a level of awareness of this situation, of how disgustingly corrupt their state has been. Again, past tense. I'm being hopeful that things have improved. That's all really I'm going to look through. Of course, full condolences to all of the victims' families. Absolutely terrible. This is shocking. I've not made too many videos recently. I've dropped the ball. I'm going to try to pick it up again. Hopefully I do. But pardon my French, fuck me dead. Isn't this a good one to start off with, or to restart? I shouldn't say a good one, but such a subject, such a terrible, terrible situation. It blows my mind. I think we've got to remember that governments do this. Again, I'm referring back to the date, 2014, 8 years ago. That's not that long ago. You know, can you remember what you were doing 8 years ago? Probably. There's every chance that you're still living in the same area, perhaps the same house, the same apartment. Perhaps you've still got the same car. You know, perhaps you've still got the same TV. It wasn't that long ago. And a government, the army, the local police of a major country was killing its own people, kidnapping them, seemingly torturing them. To me, this is craziness. This is, I mean, we say what's going on in the West is clown world. Some of us say that. I say that. We say that what's happening in Europe, America, Australia, New Zealand, there's all kinds of insanity going on, but every now and then a situation like this just reminds us that, well, shit, things can get worse. I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. If I've done a half decent job, please do like, comment, subscribe. If you've stayed all the way until 19 minutes 40 seconds, then you are an absolute star. I appreciate that. And again, I'm going to try to get back into the swing of making multiple videos every day. I'm not 100% confident that I'll manage it, but we'll see. Thank you.